SigTalks, Episode 011, Billy the Life Cell, Kids and Chiropractic.
Hello, and welcome to SigTalks with your host, Dr. Carrie Sigafoose, your home for the chiropractic philosophy, where we discuss the teachings of Dr. James Sigafoose, from his writings to his talks and his many audio presentations.
Today we're going to have a little fun and move away from some of the more serious stuff and focus on kids. There was no one more important to Dr. Sigafoose than the kids in his practice, and it showed, not only by how many children he took care of, but also in the way that he made sure he was constantly trying to educate them. With that, I will be playing the audio from Billy the Life Cell Chirotune that we created from one of Dr. Sig's pamphlets that he made to hand out to adults and kids for them to better understand chiropractic and the importance of taking care of the entire family. As always, I will see you on the other side.
It was just another morning in the body of Tom. In the thyroid, Billy the Life Cell was at work with the computer. He was trying to estimate how much calcium he was going to need to keep all of the bones, teeth, and fingernails hard. And as usual, he was dreaming of transferring to another department. In the workshop, the red blood cells were busy delivering oxygen and hauling off carbon dioxide. In the network of pipes and ducts that ran past his department, Billy noticed that the traffic was exceedingly heavy. Several trucks loaded with combat troops had passed by, and his curiosity was aroused. He went to the communications panel marked Voluntary, Sensory, and Autonomic Systems. He called his friend Jack in the brain. "What's going on?" Billy asked. Jack replied, "Tom cut his finger last night, and we were invaded by enemy forces. We lost a few of our boys, but our white cells now have the situation in hand. The invaders were defeated, and our boys are merely working on the healing process today." Phew. Billy was relieved, but as usual, a little envious of Jack. The brain cells were the first to know everything. In the processing and supply department below, the workers had very little to do. This morning's shipment of raw materials had merely been 2 shipments of coffee, 1 donut, and the usual shipment of aspirin. The supervisor was furious, and he placed a call to Central Intelligence. He shouted, "I can't run this department on the deliveries that we've been getting. We received very few supplies this morning, and last night wasn't much better. Only bread, chopped meat, beer, and more pills. Lack of good food is one thing, but coupled with this continuous supply of aspirin and other drugs, we're only going to run into trouble. My crew's already informed me of a weakening in the wall of the stomach." Central Intelligence replied, "I'm aware of your problems. Tom, as you know, is a bachelor. He eats irregularly, sleeps little, and drinks quite a bit. You'll just have to convert some of his fat and reduce his body weight. He might not like his weight loss and start sending you more supplies. Do keep me posted on any further damage to the stomach." In the evening, Billy noticed that things were hectic in the adrenal section. He called up Jack to see what was going on. Jack said, "Tom is playing a hectic game of basketball, and as you know, we're not used to this exercise." Jack's reply was interrupted by a terrifying impact. The red emergency light flashed on and the speaker came to life. The voice heard was that of Chief of Intelligence. "The situation is serious," he said. "Tom has taken a fall and a vertebrae has shifted out of position. It's blocking the main supply route to the heart, and as you know, we are equipped to make and repair bone, but we certainly can't move them. Many of our friends are cut off from us. Some have died and many others will follow over a few months or possibly years. And if that route is open soon, we'll all perish. If any of you come up with any ideas, please contact Central Intelligence." Billy and all of the cells in the thyroid department were upset over the loss of their friends, and as the weeks went by, they found alternate routes to the heart. They managed to ship small amounts of supplies and replacements, but all this was doing was merely delaying the end. One day, Billy had an idea. He thought, if a man caused the bone to move in the first place, then only man can move it back into place. He called Jack to ask his opinion. "Sounds great," said Jack. "I'll call Central Intelligence and see what can be done." He called CI and explained his conversation he had with Billy. That just might be the answer, but as you know, I don't have the final say, so All I can do is make a recommendation. We could put Tom in pain and perhaps then he will seek help. The next day, the chief's voice blared out over the speaker system. He said, "Yesterday, Billy suggested to me that man caused the vertebrae to shift out of position and that only man can move it back." This certainly seemed logical to me. Last night, as you know, we put Tom in pain. We've succeeded in getting him to seek help. Presently, he's in a chiropractor's office. He's been x-rayed, and it has been explained to him that he has a subluxation of the second dorsal vertebrae. He's been explained that since this bone has been out of position for a long period of time, it will continue to slip out until it's trained to stay. Tom must go for spinal adjustments or checkups several times a week. He continued, "In a few minutes, the doctor will move the bone, and I want all available troops to be ready to move into the heart. Please understand, in days to follow, the vertebrae could slip again and some of you will be cut off. This is what all of you have been trained for, and I know you will do a good job." Shortly thereafter, the warning light went off, and the lifeline to the heart was open again. In the weeks that followed, there were numerous alerts. Despite the interruptions, the rebuilding process was in full swing. Definite progress was being made. Months later, while Billy was again dreaming of a transfer, he again noticed the adrenal section was working hard. He again called Jack and said, "What's all the excitement?" We were treated at Tom's reaction to his chiropractor's receptionist. Eyes department says she's quite pretty. Judging from Tom's reaction, I'd say it was love at first sight. And a few months later, Tom married his doc's receptionist. Billy, because of his suggestion of having a man move the bone, was rewarded with a transfer to the brain. He was the happiest cell in Tom's body. Well, with one exception. The chief of processing and supply. With Tom's marriage came regular deliveries of well-balanced food, and of course, Tom's chiropractor convinced him of the dangers of medication.
I'm sure you're wondering why I chose Billy the Life Cell for this week's SigTalks episode. Well, the reason is pretty simple. Sometimes I think we forget about our most important patients, that being children. The simple story explains to kids and adults how the human body works, from the white blood cells and their jobs of fighting off infection to the communication between the brain and the body and how a subluxation can interfere with the communication. It touches on how symptoms work and how the body uses these symptoms to let us know that there's something wrong. The story is only about 6 minutes long, but it educates everyone in a fun and memorable way. Dr. Sig was always trying to get his patients to understand the importance of chiropractic care for the entire family and how chiropractic is safe for children. There's been several large-scale research studies verifying the safety and effectiveness of chiropractic care for kids. The amount of force used to adjust an infant is comparable to the amount of force you would use to test a ripe tomato at the grocery store. Those of you with kids know that they are certainly able to withstand a lot more pressure than that. We as chiropractors have been helping kids lead healthier lives for over 100 years. But why do kids need chiropractic care? Well, bones model in response to outside physical stresses placed upon them, a concept known as Wolff's Law. I guess I did learn something at school. Well, anyway, proper joint motion is needed to distribute these forces for optimal bone development. There are periods of time when skeletal growth is accelerated, commonly known as growth spurts, during which balance in muscles and joints is especially important. Just like bones of the skeleton, a child's nervous system is also developing at a rapid rate. Just like the bones need proper joint motion for optimal development, so do the nerves in order to develop optimal communication or innervations. One of those most common questions I always got in practice was, when should I start bringing my kids in to get checked? My answer was always short and simple. It is never too early to bring a child to the chiropractor. Infants just minutes old are often checked by the family chiropractor, and it's not uncommon to stop by the chiropractor's office on the way home from the hospital. The birthing process is physically strenuous for both mother and the baby, so it is best to get them both cared for as soon as possible. That being said, it is never too late either. Children can enjoy the benefits of chiropractic care at any age or stage of development. I do recall as a child hearing patients always asking my father, how often should I bring my kids in? For this answer, I will go straight to the master. Dr. Sigafoose had tons of papers and articles that he left on his computer, and the following is one I dug up during some research. I am reading this verbatim from what he wrote. Chiropractic for kids will vary as much as chiropractic for adults. It is often difficult to know when your kids need to see a chiropractor because they do not generally present with pain. To help with this issue, we recommend setting regular well-child visits, the same way you would with your dentist. These help catch minor issues before they turn into major problems and allow kids to truly maximize their healthy potential. Dr. Sigafoose also wrote what he thought was a good example of recommended child care schedule. First month of life as soon as possible. Every 3 months for the first year, then every 6 to 12 months thereafter. This, of course, did not exclude other times to consider bringing kids in for appointments, such as for major milestones, like the first time the child would sit up or crawl or walk, if there were any traumas or falls, and if you noticed any signs of imbalance, such as limping or head tilting. A few other times were listed on Dr. Sigafoose's child recommendation list of common childhood conditions that families have seen great results from chiropractic. Dr. Sig noted in his writings that it is important to note that chiropractors do not necessarily treat or cure these conditions, but they have been shown to help in profound ways by adjusting the children suffering from them and enhancing their general health. Some of these include ADHD or autism spectrum disorders, ear infections, common colds, colic, constipation, growing pains, plagiocephaly, or commonly called flathead syndrome, scoliosis, bedwetting, breastfeeding difficulties, birthing traumas, and sports injuries like Little League elbow. Well, I hope you enjoyed the episode of SigTalks, and before I go, I wanted everyone to know that this story that you just listened to was written by my father and one of his patients, Ralph Gilmore, over 40 years ago. Dr. Sigafoose used to hand it out in a booklet form to his patients, but just recently I turned it into what I call a chirotune and coloring book with the story written out on the inside of it. If you are interested in seeing the video, just go to sigafoose.com/blog and look up the article under Billy the Life Cell. It will take you immediately to a link where you can hear an introduction by me and watch the entire story. It also will allow you to purchase the story and coloring book for immediate download, and it gives you unlimited copyrights for use and reproduction of the coloring book. Yeah, I know, shameless self-promotion. But if I did not tell you, everyone would have sooner or later asked me where they could see it. So I just killed 2 birds with 1 stone. With that, I would like to say thank you for your time. And remember, for every child that you take care of today, you will have a patient for a lifetime. Just ask any 2nd or 3rd generation chiropractor who has taken over a father or mother office. Take care and see you next week.
Thank you for joining us today. If you're interested in more of Dr. Sigafoose's material, head on over for your daily dose of chiropractic philosophy to www.sigafoose.com and register for our free newsletter and to find today's audio clip of Dr. Sigafoose in its entirety. Remember to give, love, do, and serve.